Hey, it's Daniel here. I wanted to describe my first Salvia trip. It was Salvia 10X, bought from a head shop. And so I put a small amount into my pipe, and it was a crappy $5 pipe, but it did the job. Used a butane torch lighter, and the salvia, when I inhaled it, it tasted a bit like oolong tea. And so here's what happened. Right at the beginning of the trip, like right as it started to happen, it's like salvia became, it's like gravity became symbolic, and I saw these two pink icicles representing gravity, and suddenly, like, I started to fall perpetually, like free falling actually, and it was like each fall was leading into this new layer of having a deja vu experience, and it was like a deeper and deeper and deeper layer that the fall kept falling into itself and producing a faster version. And so I started feeling like I was bouncing, and everything around me was bouncing around, and I was being flung and stretching, and then I started compressing and every time I was flung, I went right into the air, and the rest of my body had to catch up, and when it caught up, I would become really short. And I remember walking down the hallway, and I was peeking, and it was like everything was pink, and just like bouncing and stretching, and everything was pink. And I remember the ceiling. I felt like it was 3 or 4 feet high, and that I was like right underneath it, right underneath. And so then I turned around, and there were all these bouncing sounds, and I started to come down, and I heard this repetitive chanting, like several men just chanting, chanting, chanting in this really repetitive fashion. And I walked back down the hallway and looked at my dad, and I had this tunnel vision, and he looked so far away. And I looked at the living room, and it had this hallucinated pink merry-go-round, maybe 4 or 5 feet wide, in the center of it. And I was coming down, and I looked at the door leading outside, and it was just like in the air. You know, everything was in the air, coming back together. And this door was in the air, just descending back to its rightful place. And I was still tripping, and I asked my dad if he wanted to come out of the candy house, which I thought was the house. And when I looked at my dad, it looked like he was struggling against the weight of gravity. Just I saw in frames, like one frame after another, and there were these twinkles in the frames, and he was struggling against gravity to me. And then I had come down, and I was starting to feel the afterglow, and it was like these comic book colors that were there, just leading, you know, sort of rising or following the little the wooden deck, you know, these comic book colors. And then my trip sort of ended, and I felt kind of tranquil, and everything was normal again. and I listened to Above and Beyond's song If I Could Fly, and it was just a great ending to a great experience. I've taken Salvia like 30 times since then, and I've probably tripped off of it 10 times, 5, 10 times, and I went insane from it once. So be careful with that stuff, but it'll definitely get you tripping, that's for sure. Alright, peace out.